they invert everything, right? So they give us this narrative of the way out is up. Well, if they invert everything, does that mean the way out is down?
Well, I mean, yes. We have no evidence that there's an ocean floor whatsoever.
Why doesn't anyone talk about this? Scientists have just discovered a gigantic ocean 430 miles beneath the Earth's surface. Let me break this down for you. They went down 430 miles in the ocean and found an ocean inside the ocean. Does this mean the Agartha theory is real? Just a quick recap. The Agartha theory is that there is a legendary city said to reside in the Earth's core. Because think about it, how can you find another ocean inside the ocean? Everything you knew about the oceans is wrong. The scientists said that you could take all three of our oceans, Atlantic, Pacific, and the Indian, and put them together, and this new ocean is still 3 times bigger. This is what you're probably thinking. So they got to the bottom of the ocean, and then the water ended, but they then find another ocean. This raises a few questions. How do you go 430 miles beneath the ocean? Does the water stop at some point? And now we get to the craziest part. And if there is water beneath the oceans, could that mean there is land beneath the surface?
No,
And
no.
yet we've been invaded by all sorts of strange beings that and we can name the ones that have made it
Well,
through popular culture:
I
vampires,
mean,
reptilians, greys,
what does the Pope
Phoenicians.
wear on his head?
Yeah, fish head.
A fish
Why?
head, mitre.
Why?
The Dogon or the Dagon, the fish gods, right? That they were worshipped, and
It's
that's where basically the
absolutely.
Pope's mitre comes from. Is the Dagon, the fish people, fish gods. So yeah,
Yep. Yep. So, I mean, there's just, I can't find any evidence against this concept because we don't have it. Now, do we really think that they haven't like had this concept technology availability understanding for a long time? I highly doubt it. If the
mm,
Phoenicians arrived from the oceans and got symbolized as the mermaid or mermens, which they did, which that symbol has driven itself through our corporate symbolism, hasn't it?
yeah,
The
Starbucks,
mermaid,
anyone?
yeah, exactly. It's driven it through there.
Yeah,
So if
yeah.
that's so there, why? And there's a lot of horrible videos where they talk about, the amazing powers of eating mermaids.
Mm.
Have you seen those?
Yes,
It's like
yeah,
the
yeah,
spirit
yeah.
cooking, but with
That's yeah. It
mermaids.
came out about a year ago. All these weird, elitist parties. It reminds me of, I can't remember the story that much, but Captain Nemo, right? He was going around in a submarine way down under the
Yep,
ocean.
yep,
So,
yes,
I'll
and
have to
yes.
revisit that just to see what he found.
I mean, we've never found any Tartarian submarines.
No, we have not. We found boats. They had, Tartarian ships and stuff, but as far as under the water, but we don't know because would they tell us, right?
All right, so
But
my
and
next
also
question.
that they invert everything, right? So they give us this narrative of the way out is up. Well, if they invert everything, does that mean the way out is down?
Well, I mean, yes. I would say yes. But how's this, right? How's this for a concept? What if it was the upside down world that flooded our world? So that this knowledge, this pathway was suddenly submerged in water. Like that's an interesting concept because from the flat Earth idea, the waters came from underground, not from down, but from underground, right?
And that's what
So
it
I mean
says
that's
in the Bible as well. The water came from below. Didn't, they say 40 days of rain, but if you read it, it says the water actually came up from below.
it's just interesting. Just and in doing that to us, did they do it
Which
to them?
and when the water came up from below, a lot of people have linked that to the meteor craters, of which there are what around 200, and that's been linked to the fallen angels. So is that a link? They didn't fall; they came up, right? Again, inverted, right? They might not be fallen angels; they might be risen, right?
I mean, just out of curiosity, what do you guys think it would look like if you're in the upside down world? And CERN with its gigantic fucking like freaking
Large Hadron
machinery
Collider. Hmm.
like dug its way up through your surface, you would essentially get what looks like a meteor had hit the ground. You
Yeah.
would get this hole, this concaving hole, you know, and it would
Mm.
just, and all the dirt and shit would be underneath you, not on top of you. You would just get this concaved hole, and you would emerge. Like we have technology. I mean, what is CERN? Like you know, we get told that it's like, you know, it's like all about
La
particles and
yeah, yeah.
la la
Large
la.
Hadron Collider where they smash atoms
Yeah,
into each
but
other at
we
the speed of
also
light.
watch them do all their like demonic portal dancing.
Yeah, yeah.
And we know they've got these huge drills,
And
underground drills. It's so fucking big.
and portals in that video, what is it? The tunnel, I can't remember the name of it in Sweden, but basically that tunnel opening and they show the big portal they're
Oh
dancing
my
in.
God, it's so
It's the
crazy.
same as Stargate.
Yeah,
Remember,
it's
remember the
this. Yeah,
Stargate portal?
yeah.
What was it? Water.
Wait. Oh, that's right. That's right.
It
It
was
was.
water.
So, all right. I mean, like, that's just a cool concept there. Let's have, like, you know, no ocean floor, people. Chew on that. Rub that around your tongue. No ocean
Mm,
floor. No, the
yeah.
implications of that being true. Like, what are some of the other implications of that being true? That there's an upside down world underneath that, an upside down world underneath us.
Without a doubt, one of the most amazing things that I had ever seen in the bottom of the ocean. And it was while filming for Blue Planet. It was in the Gulf of Mexico. And I noticed there's something out in the distance. Couldn't tell exactly what, but it looked like a dark band. And as we approached it, the dark band became a donut. I saw this donut that was black in the center. What the heck is that? And so as we get closer and closer to it, I noticed that the black band had what appeared to be kind of steam over it. And then I looked, and there was water lapping against the shoreline. This band was a ring of mussels. And inside the ring of mussels was a lake. And it's like, wait a minute, I'm already underwater. We went out over the water in this lake and tried to descend in it and bounced off. It was so super saline and dense that the submarine couldn't go down in it. We literally bounced off, and as we bounced off, we sent ripples heading back to the shoreline. It was insane. I've never seen anything like it.
I
Mm.
mean, and if we're talking about a flat realm, then that under upside down would be equally as fucking big, right? It would be an infinite, endless flat Earth realm.
And would it have a firmament as well? And if you put those two together, would you get a globe?
The world, the
The
whole
wow, that
universe, the entire concept of
mm.
reality.
And if it's one body of water, does it shift? So like at one time we're flooded and it's got more land and then it changes and we've got more land and it's flooded.
Which would give us the cycles of the reset.
The cycles.
That it's like a giant plug. I don't know. I don't know. Like if the waters are actually sustaining two realms, and not just a realm, but infinite realm. If the waters like sustaining infinite realms, isn't there a picture of this? Isn't there something in I feel like there's a vague picture I remember of like a body of water underneath the flat earth. But if you connected it to an upside down world, then like
There's
I mean it's kind of very
definitely,
similar to a snow
I
globe.
mean, what do they call it? Sheol, they used to call it.
Yes, yes, that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
You got a picture?
I'm having a look. Um, I'm not sure what they say. Sheol is the Hebrew word for the underworld or the grave, a place of darkness and silence where the dead reside. It's a realm that both righteous, blah, blah, blah. So they're saying it's all to do with death and
Oh,
basically,
Campbell, just pause there for a second.
but
Because you
this one
just like
here,
the underworld, the death world, the world without life. The is that the world of the demiurge?
it could very well could be, right?
Yeah, because
But
it created above itself the replication of the living world, the world of the gods. It created its own version.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
interesting.
there
Look
it
at
is.
this. It says
Yes, that's the one I'm
firmament
thinking about.
of the
Yes.
sky. Why would they say of the sky if there's only one firmament?
Yeah,
Does that mean
exactly.
there's a firmament of the waters? But look at this. Yeah, on the outside it says ocean,
Yeah.
and we've
Yeah.
definitely got water going under here,
Yep.
right? And
Yep.
that's one of the classic pictures, and that's what they write about in here. We got Sheol. So all these older sort of depictions of the Earth kind of show that, right? Let's see what we get if I just put
And
in
how perfect to tell us that there's this fucking molten lava at the center of the earth. I mean, retarded concept, I think. I've always thought that was a retarded concept.
magnetic
I
molten
know,
lava.
what? But in actual fact, there's no flaw. That's just the insane concept.
Yeah,
But
well,
yeah, I mean, these are the sorts of, yeah, these are the images that like I was looking at. Yeah.
that's the same thing, and you, like again, it's a small picture, but you can see that it's kind of showing that there's water above and below, right? The Apsu and Tiamat. Interesting,
Yeah.
because Tiamat, right? That comes from, I think, is it Eric von Daniken that talks about Tiamat's the planet that came and crashed with another planet and sort of made all
Destroyed.
these things
Yeah. So I mean, back to the idea of the underworld. I mean, that is the interesting concept, the world of the dead. Like, I mean, I think we could play with that. Like, because every parasitic entity that has invaded our realm is of death. They are parasitic. They are. That's how they have to siphon life to exist. And AI is just the final embodiment of that, which it probably has always been that. But
Mm,
like so the underworld concept is like very interesting to me. And I saw this very bizarre video the other day where people were taking biometric readings off graves,
of greys,
off
alien,
graves,
or
graves,
grey visor.
dead people, Campbell,
Yeah, yeah.
from like not just recent dead people, but from like the 1900s, sort of tombstone dead people. Now, I mean, that's interesting and weird to me. I just a side note, but I don't
Oh
want to
my
tie that into
gosh.
this.
Okay, so I've just found this picture. Where is it there? Open it. That says the god A, which is EA, in the watery Apsu
Yeah,
receives another
right.
god. Hang on, I should share this because that's quite an interesting little picture.
It could actually be a water world, Campbell. It could be a water world.
That there was a movie called Waterworld, by the
There
way.
was. That was a total box office flop, wasn't
So
it?
this is the god A, right? Receiving in the watery Apsu receives another god, probably Samas from a cylinder
Probably.
seal
Who the
of the
fuck would?
Arcadic. So look at this, that there's water around him.
Yeah, yeah.
He's sealed in
So
another watery world. It's very
interesting. And
interesting.
yes, of course. And of course, we will link all of NASA with its diving equipment and all its obsession
Yeah,
with
yeah,
water.
yeah.
NASA's obsessed with water. They're obsessed
Of
with water. It's
course.
nothing to do with fucking space. They're obsessed with water.
Okay, they're going down. They're getting ready to dive
Yeah, and the
in the
rocket ships to come
depths.
up just to go down, and like it's this, this whole
Yeah,
their whole obsession with water is like at the max. And could it be that it's the underworld, the upside down world is a water world and it's governed by technology and these beings like are like parasitic in nature and maybe it was them that flooded our earth in order to get to it.
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know. I don't know. I
To
don't
make
know.
it
Like it's a
habitable for
water's a
them.
conducive or something. It's a conduct. It's a conduit. It's a conduit for transportation.
Mm, yeah, the flood. Like, yeah, was
The
that brought
flood,
in
like the flood,
to
the
make it a
flood.
habitable place from them because they're water creatures.
Exactly, because like we talk about the flood like we understand it, but it's a fucking edge. Like the flood happened, that something sunk Atlantis, flood, Noah's flood, biblical, Abrahamic, engineered omens, the mud flood, the resets, like all these three concepts bring in floods, right? But they're also totally lofty as well, because A, where did all the water come from? It's never been answered. We've just never understood it. Where did in noses, in the biblical Abrahamic perspective, like it came from under the ground and down from the sky and created, like where did the waters come from and like how long have they been here? And are they natural to our landscape? Are the
Mm,
oceans natural to our realm? And what has water achieved as far as a conduit to enable things to come from the underground world up? Like,
mm.
and like when they're trying to, the elite essentially look at like getting out of this mess, their obsession isn't with space. Their obsession is with the waters.
The
It's
waters,
with
yeah,
the
yeah.
waters.
We've shown the spaceships. We're all seen them. They go up so they can go down. Are they diving? This is the thing.
And look,
Um,
Campbell, as we sit here in these engineered omen times, what's happening around the earth? What is one of their biggest? It's the fucking water, the flooding.
the
And what was the whole cue? The cue thing was always watch the water,
watch the
watch the water.
water,
We
watch
never
the
understood what
water.
there was,
Yep, yep. And the
whatever
whole
cue,
AI
whatever the fuck
using
cue
all the
is.
water to program it. And the thing is, like, of course, humans, men and women need water, right, to survive. But we need
Oh my
fresh
God.
water. We do not need seawater. We need
We actually
fresh
need
water.
coconuts. Even the
Coconuts.
concept that we actually require water for hydration is a program
Yeah, no,
fallacy.
yeah, you could live off, yeah, coconut water for sure and
What
other
is not
things.
what we're meant to drink to hydrate?
It's true. Like, yeah, most water it sucks stuff out of you, right? Like what we actually need is the salts and electrolytes and things like this that are in certain liquids. But yeah, it's true.
And you
Yeah,
know what? I'll just tell you about my week this week, Cam. Like last week, I spent a couple of days with Carbonate, and we brought over an archaeologist from the States. And he
yeah,
contacted us because he's in his 80s, very renowned archaeologist, and his work, ironically, and I'll link this conversation, is that he was a water diviner and an archaeologist, but he basically spent his life as a humanitarian and going around to continents and places where they had no water and the villagers were dying because there was no fucking water. So he would go in there and divine a well. He'd find the water. He'd find the water source, right? The well. But in doing that, as he started to work his way around the realm, looking for where the water is to put in the wells, he started to come across in the line of the water sacred sites. And he'd start to come across like circular symbols or rock piles. And I didn't even know about this. And this is fascinating. And we should do a whole show on it. But he started to discover these like rock piles of rocks that had been like put there specifically with these carved turtle heads out of more rock that had been put at the front to make a giant turtle, right? He's found them all. It's like when
the
we found star
turtles.
forts,
Yes, yes,
right?
yes, yes.
Like,
The
so the
turtles.
turtle, right? And so the turtles, their head would face this way if the water was going in that direction, this way in that direction, straight ahead. It meant there's a phenomenon on the horizon. But the turtle was just one symbol. He started to find standing stones and circles and all these things, right? And what he was tuning into was not the river system, it was not the groundwater, it was the original sacred water lines, like more in alignment with the basins, the ancient basin. But what, and then he ended up being hired by someone in Peru, right, to come to this village in Peru, which just happened to be at the base of the mountain range of the Nazca Lines. This is his most famous discovery, right? So he had full permission to explore the Nazca Lines, but they don't get any permission to anyone because you can only see it by air, right? So he started to, and he wasn't there to explore the Nazca Lines. He was there to find the water, right? So he was moving through the Nazca Lines following the water. And what he discovered, which was his breakthrough, is that the symbols and the lines of the Nazca Lines were exactly following the widths of the water flow. So like if it was like the bird stretched out, it was exactly the width of where his divination would say the water was exactly either end. And then the symbols would come in, and that's exactly the width of where the water was. So what he's built his lifetime around is the idea that the ancient symbols, the standing stones, the circles, all the things around each culture is following the ancient waterline. So they had a massive, and I don't know if you'd call it reverence at this point, or maybe you would call it a map to the underground world or the upside down world, Campbell, symbols all around this earth, known by our ancients, known by our indigenous, known by the humans of the realm. So
Mm.
he contacted Carbonate, to get back to the story, to come to Australia for the first time to see if this theory lined up in Australia with the sacred sites of our indigenous people. And so he's been here for 7 days now, and he's saying yes, he's found the same thing, and he's gonna. Well, we've got a filmmaker there. It'll all come out as a documentary. But isn't that interesting that I spent my week with an archaeologist who literally has been tracing the ancient water lines directly under, because no one had made the link, Cam. No one
Mm.
had linked Stonehenge. So when you look at some of the symbols, you'll get like a circle made of rocks, and then like a wagon wheel effect. So like lines coming off from the center. So that would mean there's 7 sources of water flowing into that point, and this was the center of it, which is exactly what happened under Stonehenge. He's been to all of the famous ones, everyone that we would know, and it has he's proved his theory. So I just think that's very interesting that like these sacred sites worldwide are actually following these ancient water pathways. And if we start to look at water and where water came from and why water is such a significant part of our future understanding of what's going on here, and that the ocean doesn't have a floor, and that they're focused on getting, and the upside down world, like it all sort of relates, don't you think? Like there's like a deep understanding here, like we're starting to understand what's really going on. If the sacred symbols left by our elders, our custodians of humans, are directly relating to water. Why? It's not part of our hydration. That's been programming.
Yeah.
We do not get hydrated by water. You know,
Yeah.
that's part of our degradation, actually. You know, that's part of our like lack of minerals and nutrients.
Yeah. If it's just water, it strips us of yeah, nutrients and
Rainwater,
totally.
shit as.
Yeah.
Any water coming from rainwater tanks, the worst, almost the worst.
Full of
If you've got a
chemtrails, eh?
rainwater tank, yeah, it's full. It's no good. If you've got rainwater tanks, you'll have heavy metals in you. I have lead in me. I've discovered
Mm.
this week. Yep.
So are you thinking it's some kind of map of the upside down world?
Maybe a map where there were access points
Oh,
or
to
something.
actually to get
I don't
through.
know, Cam. I don't know because like they literally bothered to put symbols, and he's now worked out because he's been so far all around. He's now like been able to start to understand the communication in these symbols worldwide. Just as like Tartaria we see as worldwide, this was like another layer of that worldwide. Same symbols, same alignments. Where there's 7 standing stones and a circle stone, it's 7 flows of ancient water and a center point. Those center points have been marked. Why? Why is it so important? Like these water sources are the underground water sources.
To the
They're not
deep.
the deep water sources. They're not the ones that were like usable by humans.
Okay.
That's interesting, don't you think?
Yeah, that
I've
is
only said that all
interesting.
out loud now because I've only just thought that. It's just weird that I did that last week and then thought about this a couple of days ago.
Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, we've often
So
discussed, how natural is the weather? Have we ever experienced
never,
natural weather?
never,
So
not in
all
our
this
whole
stuff
lifetime.
about, yeah, clouds and storms and all that, is that even natural? We don't know, right? Um,
And the
and then
weather
and
today, like the crazy shit with the columns coming out of the water, the columns of water being dragged up into this
the
clouds.
spouts, yeah, water
You know, you've
spouts.
but
Yeah,
also what about this for another connection, right? Like AI fucking to exist needs water.
needs water.
Like we've already talked about on the show, like one image being produced by AI, one image. Imagine how many fucking images are being made every second worldwide. Takes 9 liters of water.
Mm.
Like the infrastructure to support this parasitic invader is water. It cannot exist without water. Did it flood the realm in order to exist here and generate AI? Not for the fucking vampires or the Phoenicians or all the other weird derivatives of beings, but the actual AI itself, the main invader, requires water to exist. We don't.
Well, it was
It does.
the God of the Bible, right? Which is, the demiurge, the Yahweh, all this kind of stuff. They say created the flood, and that's the invader. That's the parasite, right? The God of the Old Testament.
You can't build your AI requirements. You can't build technology without water. You
Mm,
cannot. It's today, the AI world, all of those companies and corporations, they have systematically bought every single water license in the world.
yep, it's true.
They own the water because they need it. They
It's
need it.
interesting and the
Without
whole
water.
maritime law thing. It's the law of the water that they
So
rule us with.
Campbell, if we were in a time before this invasion, Let's imagine there was never any water. And imagine if our ancients understood that water would enable this invading force to infiltrate our realm and this AI technology to infiltrate the realm. So they mapped and were aware of all the possible, like, water ins and outs. So water was a fundamental defense system. To not have it, to not have the water was a defense system against this. Because if you took one thing away that would collapse AI in an instant, it would be the removing of water worldwide. We would not die,
No, yeah,
right?
yeah, it would. So, yeah, okay. So what about
Interesting.
plants? Do plants need water? I mean, I guess, or do they
Plants
tap
need
into groundwater?
soil. Plants need good soil. Plant needs high nutritional soil with a good biodiversity around it, with the microorganisms all working as one, all working. We have a war. I think there's always been in the ancient times water. Air is water. Air is water.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Air
Yeah.
is water. But AI requires much more dense water. I think our realm has always been green, like a giant terrarium. You know that it's a
Yeah,
self
well, there's one that's over 100 years old and it's
yes.
never had water added and it's gone off. Yeah.
Terrariums prove this point. Our realm could exist and does exist essentially with a firmament as a terrarium, and it's
Terrarium.
self-sustaining.
Yeah. Yeah.
Terrarium is better
Terrarium.
than but terrarium's better,
Terranium's better. Oh, because
don't you think?
terrain's in there.
That's where we are. So, isn't it interesting, thus, that if we were to actually fight AI, we would simply remove the water? Of course, we think that's an absolute impossibility. Of course, we do. That's ridiculous. It's the oceans. They've always been there and it's so vast, right? But in actual fact, we don't even know how big the oceans are because we've been deceived by travel and the round earth and planes and the maps and the travel trips. Like, we don't know how big, we can't explore it, we don't go into it, we basically avoid any connection with the ocean to really know in any sense of the word how much water is there and how, like, if there's no ocean floor, something would have kept that defense thing. Something was there that prevented this upside down world from integrate into, like,
Mm,
getting to our
getting
world.
through. Yeah.
There was something that would have that acted like a shield of some description that potentially has
Mm.
been broken, and thus we've been invaded.
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't
I
know all the
mean,
answers because it's all very new thoughts.
on all the old maps, we get all these sea monsters too, right? Like, were they here because it was closer to the invasion and they got through? I mean, they definitely
The
scare
sea
us about the
monsters,
water.
yes,
You
the
know,
sea monsters and
Jaws.
all the maps.
Jaws kept it, everyone out of the water. And
Brilliant
and
programming.
and when you research these sea people or Phoenicians, they will tell you, we don't know where they came from. They just turned up. There's no history to them. They literally just came on the scene one day,
From the waters.
bringing their maritime law from the waters.
Yeah.
Mm.
I don't know what the defense mechanism, but maybe the symbols, the ancient symbols, the ancients, like, they understood something other. There was a grid. This maybe water is the song lines. Maybe when they talk about ley lines and song lines, it's just following this ancient water map. Like, I would almost 100% think that is the case. I'll be
Mm.
interested what he comes back with the song lines. It's a big part of the Australian Indigenous culture,
Yeah.
and cultures worldwide. Like, maybe they understood something about the nature of the upside down world and that it was the world of the dead, the underworld, and that the
Does
two
the
should never mix or know each other.
does the big friendly giant go through a lake? He does,
Yeah, no,
doesn't he?
yeah, he
It's
goes through
water,
like,
isn't
yeah,
it,
a
that he
big,
goes through
yeah, a big tree, and then he jumps into this
into the
water,
water.
and then he flips up in London.
Mm. And then there's they tell us about Pangea and Gondwanaland. They say once all the continents were connected. Well, is that because there were no oceans?
Exactly. I don't think there were. I've heard heaps of accounts of there being no oceans.
Mm.
I've heard
And
stories about there being a watery, like an atmosphere, like a
yeah, like the
terrarium.
vapor canopy.
like the vapor canopy, yeah.
Yeah.
But like the waters, the oceans, no. The oceans I've heard were relatively new. And in reality would be what we would have to say from only our, it would have to been the Great Flood,
Yeah,
gave
yeah,
birth to our
yeah.
oceans.
Yeah, and we see that there's sunken cities all over the place,
Yeah,
right? That it were obviously once
exactly.
on land.
They didn't build in the ocean.
No, no, exactly. And lighthouses, like, well, what's going on with them? They don't didn't build them in the ocean for sure, right? They were clearly there before the flood. Interesting. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
that isn't. It's all interesting. That's all interesting, but it's all new concepts. So, let's fill it in over the week because that is like there's so many more things we're not thinking about here that would validate this idea, you know?
Mm. Oh, yeah, there's a few connections there. I mean, the Dagon's a good one, right? Fish gods,
Exactly.
which
And
became the Roman Catholic Church, basically, right?
yep, yep. And now when we look at Antarctica and the whole ice wall phenomenon and that whole phenomenon, then from that perspective, we're like in a sinkhole. The whole realm
Yeah,
itself is like in essentially a
like a crater
sinkhole,
sort of thing. Yeah,
like a
yeah,
crater. So to flood, to bring waters to that crater is like it's not like it's infinite.
yeah, yeah. Just need to fill it up, and the
But that
moon as
means, but the
well.
ice is all water, right? The ice is all water too. So,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
that could
frozen
just be an
water.
extension of the water. It could be. It could have been an extension of this thing happening, this
It
defense
could be
shield
a
going down.
containment wall.
Because there's
Who knows if there's water on the other side of it, right?
well, because they're like it's full of a civilization as well. Like, right? There's like, there's a little bit of evidence of there being, we can at least we can say that the all the countries in the world agreed that no one could go there and they'd all work together in Antarctica, which would denote that there's, huge, unbelievable sites and things there, but frozen in water.
In water. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And the moon, there's so many stories that, whatever it is, that it wasn't always there. And their big story is it affects the tides, it affects the waters. Yeah, and watch the waters. Q, what are you telling us?
It's cool, man. I love it. I love that we're getting out of the digital era, going back to the physical world. And of course, it's a safeguard if anything does collapse with the internet. And of course, worldwide now we've got these fucking digital IDs being rolled out in Britain and all over Europe and all over Asia and all over everywhere, including Australia. And we're all going to hate that. Yes, there'll be workarounds. Yes, we'll sort out some way of getting through it. But the newspapers did something excellent for the years ahead of us. I really feel that. New submissions are open for the next edition. Obviously, now you guys are going to get some concept of what this all is about. And I am sure that everything's going to continue to evolve. The articles, the content, the theories, the ads, the artwork are going to evolve and get better and better and better. Like this is like natural way. So in a year's time, this publication worldwide should be just, I would say, the most extraordinary publication in the realm.